Ann Orgoric.
Here.
Austin Davis.
Here.
Stephanie Turman. Stephanie, you on? You on tag?
Here.
Michelle?
Here.
I see Jeff is on. Who else am I missing? Anyone else on? Jessica, are you on?
Here.
Yeah, Representative Zgorski, are you on the line?
Yes.
I think, okay, and I think that's it.
Senator Brewster.
Oh, and I apologize. Senator Brewster, are you on? Not this time. So I want to apologize on behalf of Chairman Letman. He's unavailable today, so I'll be handling the meeting. The first order of business will be approval of the minutes for the October 29th, 2021 regular meeting. May I have a motion, Mr. Davis?
So moved.
Mr. Orgoric, can you second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll move forward with our Chief Executive Officer report. Catherine, are you ready?
We have some honorees today, Madam Chair, and we were
Wonderful.
waiting to confirm that we had everybody. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Before I get to my remarks, may we please have a moment of silence for the following employees who passed away since our last meeting. Operators Roy Grant, Lori Poston, George Booker, Sherman Smith, Frank Picutis, Charles Chucker, and George McDade, janitor repair person Angelo Baradone, and receiver Joseph Smith. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge Collier service person Jim McVeigh, who is in the hospital in grave condition. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. And today now I have the honor of presenting the 2020-2021 All-Star Awards. These are to our exceptional employees who've gone above and beyond in their duties, and we would like to recognize their efforts. First up, we have James Ballard and David Jordan. Mr. Ballard is ill and couldn't be here today, so Mr. Jordan, the pressure is all on you. On April 12, 2021, these two operators were traveling in opposite directions when passengers on their buses, when they came across a 17-year-old and his mother, who were apparently involved in a struggle on the Larimer Bridge. The teen was planning to commit suicide. Without hesitation, these operators secured their buses, ran to the scuffle, and held the teen to the ground until the police and paramedics arrived. They absolutely saved this young man's life, no likely about it. We are grateful to Mr. Jordan and Mr. Ballard for their service. And Mr. Jordan, since the pressure's on you, can you come on up? You doing pictures now? Next, we have Marina Davis. On March 6, 2020, Miss Davis was driving the 61A in Edgewood when she saw a woman on the bus jump out of her seat and clutch her throat. The woman was moving toward the front of the bus when to plead for help. Miss Davis pulled over, secured the bus, and began giving the woman the Heimlich maneuver. We are very grateful to Marina for her actions that day, and I hate to think what would have happened if it were not for her efforts. So Miss Davis, come on up. I think again, we have a lifesaver. Absolutely, I know what would have happened had you not been there. I'm gonna try not to put my fingerprints on it again. So first you get to see it. Thank you so much for everything you do. For saving somebody. You don't have to. I know I had to do my lipstick too. And I believe Ms. Poindexter just got off her bus so she could join us today. No pressure for you. September 3rd, 2020, Ms. Poindexter, Privon Poindexter, saw a man trespassing on the East Busway near Pitt Tower, which is Port Authority's police station. She attempted to stop the man by yelling out, but he would not stop. Man was able to walk inside Pitt Tower. and Ms. Poindexter called Port Authority Police to notify them of the security breach. Police took the man into custody without incident. We're grateful to Carvon for her bravery. Again, who knows what could have happened. So Ms. Poindexter, will you come join me? Again, with another thing. So, you want to take your mask off? Thank you again to all of our All-Star Award recipients. On Monday, President Biden signed the historic federal infrastructure bill into law. It's a $1.2 billion package. It's the largest investment in our nation's infrastructure since 1956, when Eisenhower was president. Elvis Presley was all the rage, and most television was still black and white. This investment is vital to improving access, creating opportunity, and building our region's infrastructure into the future. We expect to learn more about this process soon, but it's been reported that Pennsylvania is set to receive an estimated $2.8 billion over 5 years. And clearly there is no shortage of projects we could pursue that would improve accessibility, equality, and equity in our region. Public transit is uniquely positioned to support every facet of our society, from getting people to and from work, school, the grocery store. You've heard me talk about we make life happen. Our mission and our vision has been connecting people to life. This also helps us ease traffic congestion for those who share the roads and help us get good union jobs that support families and communities. We are honored and privileged to be part of this historic bill. And finally, since this is our last meeting of the year, I would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy New Year, happy Festivus if that's what you do. Happy holidays. Thanks for joining us for this year. It's been a challenge. I've learned not to say next year will be better or easier, but I'm still working with the best team in transportation in the US, so it's always going to be better. We have so many opportunities at our doorstep, and we are absolutely well positioned for a triumphant return. Madam Chair, unless there's any questions, that completes my remarks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And on behalf of the board, I'd like to recognize and thank the awardees. We're proud of you. Thank you for doing what you do and doing even more, because we know it's hard work with what you do every day. So thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to report of the Performance and Oversight Committee. Ms. Shemanek, it's all you.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. The Performance Oversight Committee met last week, and I have 8 resolutions for your consideration this morning. The committee first reviewed 4 procurement items and determined the bids to be in accordance with the authority's procurement policies and procedures, the prices to be fair and reasonable, and the bidders to be responsible and the bids responsive. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends the award of bids listed in the resolution for the total amount of approximately $1.2 million. Fellow board members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
John, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Jessica, can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution seeks authorization to enter into an agreement with a contractor to provide oversight and coordination of the authority's managed care solutions. In order to obtain a qualified firm to perform the services, a request for proposals was prepared and publicly advertised, and 1 proposal was received. The proposal submitted by UPMC Work Partners has been determined to be an acceptable proposal and was also determined that they are responsible and qualified to perform the services. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends entering into an agreement with UPMC Workforce in the total amount not to exceed $4,657,143 for an initial 5-year period, with the option to extend the term of the agreement up to an additional 2 years at the sole discretion of the authority. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. Lori, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Jerry, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution seeks authorization to adopt and implement financial year 2022-2023 internal audit work plan. In 2007, the board adopted an internal audit department charter as a statement of policy and an expressed commitment to provide financial and operational oversight to the authority. In accordance with the charter, the authority's internal audit department has conducted various audit oversight activities over the past several years. In order to continue these efforts and to further strengthen the transparency and fiscal oversight of the authority, the Performance Oversight Committee recommends adopting and implementing financial year 22-23 work plan attached to the resolution as Exhibit A. My fellow board members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
And may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Austin, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution seeks authorization to extend and amend an agreement to provide drug and alcohol compliance program services. In January 2018, the authority's board authorized an award to enter into an agreement with Commercial Consulting to provide these services for an initial term of 3 years for a total not to exceed amount of $1,327,300. The agreement also contains 2 option years to be exercised by the authority in its sole discretion. In November 2020, the board authorized to exercise the first option year with no increase to the previously authorized not to exceed amount. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends extending the term of the agreement for an additional year to February 28, 2023 to increase the previously authorized total not to exceed amount by $387,209.80. My fellow board members, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution.
Jessica, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Jerry, can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Madam
Motion
Chair,
carries.
this is Senator Brewster. I'm on the phone now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, I have 3 resolutions seeking authorization to enter into construction contracts. The first project consists of the Manchester and the Pitt Tower HVAC and electrical upgrades. It's recommended that the contracts be awarded to Mercedes Construction Company in the amount of $322,692 for the central construction contract. WG Tomco Incorporated in the amount of $1,753,650 for the mechanical construction contract, and Merit Electrical Group Incorporated in the amount of $561,000 for the electrical construction contract for the completion of the project. The foregoing contracts submitted in the lowest responsive bids from responsible bidders meeting the authority's specifications for the project, and the prices are fair and reasonable. All awards are subject to the contractors completing the pre-award requirements. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Senator Brewster, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution seeks authorization to enter into contracts for the Monongahela Incline Phase 2 Rehabilitation Project. It is recommended awarding the general construction contract to Mercedes Construction Company in the amount of $5,477,777 for the HVAC construction contract to Tomco Incorporated in the amount of $246,700 and the electrical construction contract to Westmoreland Electrical Services LLC in the amount of $2,558,000 for the completion of the project. The foregoing contractors submitted the lowest responsive bids from responsible bidders meeting the authority's specifications for the project, and the prices are fair and reasonable. All awards are subject to the contractors completing the pre-award requirements. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Jessica, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Representative Ms. Gorski, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next resolution seeks authorization to award contacts for the subway station escalator rehabilitation project. It is recommended that the general construction contract be awarded to Mercedes Construction Company in the amount of $13,245,813, and the electrical construction contract awarded to Merit Electrical Group Incorporated in the amount of $262,723 for completion of the project. The foregoing contractor submitted the lowest responsive bids from responsive bidders, meeting the authority specifications for the project, and the prices are fair and reasonable. Both awards are subject to the contractors completing the pre-award requirements. My fellow members, I respectfully request that the board approve this resolution.
Okay, Representative Davis, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Tague, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The final resolution that I have for you today seeks authorization to extend and amend agreements to provide legislative consulting services. In January 2019, the authority entered into agreements with the Greenlee Partners LLC and Buchanan, Ingersoll and Rooney PC to provide the services for an initial term of 3 years for a total not to exceed amount of $888,000 to be allocated by the authority among the two firms. The agreements also contain 2 option years to be exercised by the authority at its sole discretion. The Performance Oversight Committee recommends exercising the first option year and increasing the previously authorized total not to exceed amount to $1,137,206. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Ms. Rivera, can you give me a motion?
So moved.
Senator Brewster, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I feel like everyone needs a 10-minute break. Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to the next
One
committee.
more,
Thank
one
you.
more item, Madam
Oh, you
Chair.
have more?
Jeez.
Yep, one more item. Also at the meeting, representatives from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation gave a detailed review of calendar year 2021 Penndot Rail Transit Safety Review Program. Penndot emphasized the good working relationship that they have with the authority, and in particular, Mr. Bert Jennings, Director of Safety and Chief Porter of the Port Authority Police Department. And with that, I have no further business, and I thank you all for your patience.
Oh, no. It's good. I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how. Thank you very much for that report. Next, we're going to move on to the report of the Planning and Stakeholder Relations Committee. Mr. Tague, you're up.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow board members, and stakeholders. The Planning and Stakeholders Relations Committee met last week. Board member Wallace Laval chaired this meeting in my absence. Thank you very much, Jessica, for filling in for me. I have a resolution and 2 updates for the board. First, the pandemic service changes. In November of 2020, we implemented 30 major service changes in response to the sharp decline in ridership due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The board approved 10 of the changes in July 2020 because we intended for those to be permanent. They were primarily additions to weekend service. The remaining 20 changes, 5 additions to service and 15 reductions, were intended to temporarily rebalance service from used commuter routes. Excuse me one second. Routes toward with my computer. Sorry. Routes that were experienced pass-ups due to capacity limits. Although we still consider these changes to be temporary, because there have been changes for more than a year, we were required by the FTA to conduct a formal Title VI analysis and hold a public hearing. If the board approves, the public comment period will begin December 1st and end on February 1st, 2022. We will host a virtual informational session on Tuesday, January 11th at 5:30 p.m. We will hold a public hearing on Thursday, January 27th from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. There will be more information to come in the coming weeks as we get closer to the public comment period. Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, I respectfully request board approval for authorization to approve the Title VI analysis and public comment period for COVID-19 related to major service changes.
Thank you, Mr. Tague. Michelle, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Jessica, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Lastly, the Committee for Accessible Transportation, CAT, and the Allegheny County Transit Council, ACTC. The CAT committee met virtually on November 4th for the quarterly meeting. The committee received updates on bus shelter replacements, bus stop improvements, and access. The ACTC met virtually on November 17th. Committee members received updates on the UPass program. Both CAT and ACTC had the opportunity to meet Chief Strategy Officer Donnie Hamilton and learned about his new role and responsibilities at the authority. Heard about the Title VI analysis conducted on November 2020 service changes and the upcoming public hearing. Received an update on the Ballard Light Rail Station project in Beachview. Received an update on the South Hills Junction Improvement Project as well. Unless there are further questions, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Now we're going to move on to the report of the Finance Committee. Ann, you're up.
Thanks. Good morning, Vice Chair and fellow board members. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, November 10th, and I have one resolution for your consideration. Controller Peter Shank presented a resolution to amend the FY 2022 operating budget, file an amended state operating application, and execute local match certifications. The authority was notified in October that it would be receiving an increase of $5,862,832 in its 1513 state operating assistance. This increased Section 1513 state operating assistance requires a corresponding increase of $956,755 in Allegheny County's local match funding, which has been requested in the authority's FY 2022 budget request to the county. To reflect the increased state and county operating assistance, the authority must amend its FY 2022 operating budget to reflect the updated funding levels and make other related adjustments to balance the FY 2022 operating budget. This resolution, as set forth in Exhibit A, amends the FY 2022 operating budget to a total of $493,691,076. The resolution further authorizes the authority to submit an amended FY 2022 operating assistance grant to Penndot and execute and submit operating and capital assistance local match assurances in the forms attached to the resolution as Exhibits B and C respectively. My fellow members, I respectfully request the board approve this resolution.
Thank you very much. John, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Representative Davis, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Also at the meeting, Mr. Shank reported on the October financial results. He reported that total operating income for the month of October was under budget by $3.6 million and $15.52 million under budget for the fiscal year. Both variances were due to lower passenger revenues from lower pandemic ridership levels. Mr. Shank reported that ARPA funding will be utilized to make up this shortfall once a spot audit of federal stimulus invoicing is completed by the Federal Transit Administration. Total expenses for the month of October were $3.4 million under budget and $19.6 million under budget for the fiscal year. These variances were due to lower salary and wages and employee benefit expense from vacant positions, as well as lower materials and supply expense from lower material and reconditioned unit expense. Total subsidy for the month of October was $2.1 million below budget due to a timing issue with state operating assistance and the delay in federal stimulus invoicing. Total subsidy for the fiscal year was $18.7 million under budget due to the delay in ARPA invoicing because of the FTA audit of CARES invoicing. Finally, Mr. Shank reported that as of October 31st, the authority had $135.6 million in operating reserves. Madam Vice Chair, unless there are any other questions, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to the report of the Technology Committee, which is mine, which I know is everyone's favorite. So good morning, everyone. We met on Wednesday, November 10th, and I just have one resolution to consider. The committee reviewed 3 procurement items and determined bids to be in accordance with the authority's procurement policies and procedures and the prices to be fair and reasonable. The bidders did bid responsibly and the bids were responsive. So therefore, the Technology Committee recommends the awarding of bids listed in the resolution for a total amount of $1 million. So I do respectfully request this be approved, and I'm going to ask Senator Brewster for the motion. How about John? Can you give me a motion, John?
You're wearing me out.
So moved.
Yes. I'll move on.
I like you, John. I mean, is that a bad thing? Michelle, may I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Also at the meeting, the Port Authority's Information Security Officer, Jack Nichols, provided a background on actions that the agency takes to counter malicious emails, including employee training, multi-factor authentication, and Office 365 tools. So with that, that concludes my committee report and the report of all committees today. I'd like to move on to new business. Okay. So under new business today, Chairman Letwin has asked me in his absence to appoint the following board members to serve on the nominating committee for the calendar year of 2022. Election of the officers that will take the place, election of officers for the board. The meeting will take place in January. So on behalf of Chairman Letwin, the nominating committee members will be Stephanie Turman as the chair of the nominating committee, Anna Rorick, and Representative Austin Davis. So thank you. Moving on, we have public comment. We have two people registered. The first is Ralph Williams, president of ACTC. Is Mr. Williams on or here? Doing a quick look. Is he on? No? Okay. Next, we have Jenna Taylor. Can you look, please? No? Okay, moving on from public comment. I'd like to announce the next regular meeting of the board is January 28th, 2022. With that, on behalf of the board, I'd like to wish everyone season's greetings and happy holidays, and thank you all for your dedicated service to the public, and thank you for being here as well. So if there's no other business before this board, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.